Ed Bernstein Show. Now, here's Ed.
Hi and welcome. My guest today is one of the most respected voices in the Las Vegas dining scene. He's a longtime restaurant critic, food writer, and cultural observer who's never afraid to tell it like it is. From fine dining to neighborhood gems and bigger issues shaping how we eat, he's seen it all and tasted it all. Please welcome John Curtas.
Good to be here, Ed.
Well, it's great to
Again. This is great.
I mean, look, you are the one source of, hey, where's a good place to eat in Vegas? It's always been you for, I don't know, 35 or plus years.
Yeah, back to the early 90s I've been doing this. And, I've seen where all the bodies are buried.
Yeah, and you've seen like Las Vegas really go from nothing to, you know, kind of a pinnacle. And is it kind of sliding back now?
That's a good question. I certainly think so on the Strip. I think the Strip is not where it's headed anymore. I mean, for a good 20 years, from like 1995 to 2015, the Strip was one of the hottest restaurant destinations in the world. But over certainly the last 5 to 7 years, they've sort of run out of ideas. And the backsliding has happened there. But the good news is that in the neighborhoods have picked up the slack. And now we eat out in the neighborhoods as well or better than you can eat, and a lot cheaper than you can eat on the Strip.
Well, look, nothing is cheap anymore.
No,
and you know, post COVID, it seemed like the prices just catapulted, particularly on the Strip. And look, even our gaming people are saying, hey, it's gotten too expensive on the Strip. We need to do something about it.
They're finally admitting it, by the way. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know what they're really doing about it. I mean, it's
they're rolling back prices. Not. Yeah.
Right. Like I went over. I went to go see a show at the Venetian last week, so I wanted to have dinner first. You know, as soon as look, it's $30 or $50 to park. Before you get into the restaurant there. And then you know you can't get a steak for under $100, right?
Yeah. I mean, I remember when, you want to talk about something funny. I remember when steaks broke the $40 barrier. And it seems like the Stone Age now, but it was a big deal when steaks started being $40 and $50. And now, I mean, a filet in one of our better steakhouses will run you $90.
But basically, all the restaurants on the Strip are done by chefs that have other restaurants in other cities.
Most of them, not all of them, but
most of them.
Vast majority.
Right. So you're not really getting a novel experience per se. And then my question to you is, if the chef is not there himself, herself, managing the kitchen, you know, how much of an experience are you really getting?
Well, you're getting sort of a copy of experience, okay, which is why, by and large, I'm not going to say all of the restaurants are a bad experience. I think some of the better chefs run tighter organizations. And I would use Jose Andres as an example. I mean, I've eaten in Jose Andres' original restaurants in Washington, D.C., Jaleo and Zatenia, and I've eaten in their copies here, and the offshoots here. Certainly Jaleo here is fabulous Spanish restaurant. But when you get down to the Gordon Ramsays and the Guy Fieri's, you're just getting, you know, a copy of a copy of a copy and a pretty dumbed down experience. And people who expect it to be really good, I mean, sometimes they're better off, again, going to one of our local restaurants.
Right, and let's talk about the local ones, because, you know, we talk about these Strip ones.
We have a couple Strip ones in here. We do have a couple.
Okay, you know, but you're still, because you're paying for the experience, and you're not really receiving it.
And by and large, I mean, I've soured on the Strip. I'll tell you straight up. The people who follow me on my socials and whatnot, I mean, there's very few Strip restaurants in the last 5 years that really ring my chimes anymore. But we're going to feature one right off the bat. Okay. And but most of the stuff where I'm clapping for and beating the drum for are all off the Strip now.
Let's talk about the local ones, because most of the people I know, when everybody has that same problem. Hey, where do you want to have dinner tonight? I don't know. Where do you want to have it? It goes back and forth. This is the number one question in my relationship.
Yeah. Well, that's I think it's an old Calvin Trillin line that, you know what, marriage is basically, you know, spending the rest of your life asking everyone where you want to go to dinner tonight. Who do you want to do that with? Is the best one. So what do you want to start with here?
Let's start with local. What do you have?
Amador. Let's start with Amador.
Okay. Let's talk. Where is Amador?
Amador is the old Ito Tapas place over at Jones at Spring Mountain. Tiny little sliver of a restaurant, about, I think, less than 40 seats, 36 seats. Oscar Amador Ito runs it. Ito was a fantastic Spanish tapas-oriented restaurant. He's decided to go a little more mixing up different Latin cuisines here. A little bit cheaper, a little bit, I mean, he's got breakfast tacos, he has roast chickens, he's got all kinds of mixed Latin influences in the menu. And it's not so much a prefix, it's not so much a formal dinner place, it's a place you can drop into and get all kinds of different things to eat. And Amador by Ito is probably the hottest local restaurant around now. And it's nice because it's the kind of place you could eat at once or twice a week now.
And you'll get dishes there that you will not be able to find anywhere else in Las
Oh
Vegas,
yeah, I mean
it's very unique and unusual.
His pollo pibil is fantastic. He does a breakfast taco. I mean, he does enchiladas, he does ceviches, and they're just made with a lot of love and a lot of passion. That because Oscar Ito is in the kitchen. Just the exact opposite of what we let off with here. Right. He is there watching over, and the people go there are acolytes and followers of his, and I think you can taste it on the plate.
And it's a smaller restaurant.
Small, right? 36 seats. 36 seats. But, I mean, if there's a turnover there, you walk in, you feel like it's cozy, it's great. I mean, he makes all his own salsas there. It's just one of those places that I can't get enough of.
A great restaurant. Just make sure you lock your car when you leave in the parking lot.
The parking in that lot, in that shopping center is abysmal. And, I mean, sometimes my wife and I want to go there, and she goes, yeah, but we park across the street and walk across Jones because parking is terrible. Because it's the same shopping center as China Mama, Hachi, Izakaya is there. So there's a lot of very popular places with foodies, but Amador is a place you need to check out. Yes.
Yeah. And I can only look. I will vouch for the food. Anywhere these guys open restaurants, because they have the other one also at
Anima by Ito, and they're about to open a brasserie off of Paradise Road. So Oscar Ito and his group, Joseph Mikluch is there as well. They're becoming a real powerhouse, a force in our local restaurant scene. So, and everything they do, they seem to have the golden touch right now,
and deservingly so.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we have next?
Well, next let's go downtown. Bar Boheme is another really hot place. Another person with seemingly the golden child of our chefs is James Trees. And he opened several new places this past year, including High Stakes up in the Rio, Petit Boheme, which is a cocktail bar, and Bar Boheme, which I always argue with him. I said it should be Boheme Bistro, but he calls it Bar Boheme. It's really a casual French restaurant with incredibly good food and beautiful wines, very French, but very casual, more like a bistro than a formal French restaurant. I mean, he does like the best roast chicken in town, steak frites, basically the classics of, he does a Parisian gnocchi, he does the classics of the French catechism, and better than anyone, and there's never been this kind of French restaurant anywhere but the Strip. So it's a real pioneer in that regard, and a very tough table now in downtown Las Vegas.
Are you more partial to French or Italian food?
You know, it's funny. Yes, I was at Panavino last night. You know, one of the old line Italians.
Right, yeah.
And Vincenzo, the general manager, came to my table and said, he asked me the exact same question. Of course, I blush and I go, I'm in an Italian restaurant with an Italian general manager asking me, what do I like? You know, I love Italian food, but I got to say I'm more passionate about French food. You know, but I can eat them both every day. You know, I told Vincenzo, it's like asking which kid I love the most. It depends on who's behaving themselves that day. Okay.
Okay.
So Bar Boheme is a must. Beautiful, and right out back is Petit Boheme, which is one of our nice new cocktail bars. The cocktail scene in downtown Las Vegas is not to be believed. There's at least a dozen fantastic cocktail bars. I don't drink as much as I used to. Who does? I mean, but I would say if you want to go on a cocktail crawl, Petit Boheme right next door, right behind Bar Boheme. Bar Boheme, and then the restaurants down there, Esther's Kitchen, Main Street Provisions, I mean, Holstein's Burgers. I mean, it's just boom, 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 Good Pie Pizza. I mean, downtown is the place right now, downtown in Chinatown.
Yeah, we were at, had an event over at the Doberman.
Fantastic.
The interiors are just a lot
Just
of fun.
knocks you out, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
just the Doberman,
Yeah.
you walk in and you're just like, I mean, it's one of the most beautiful
Very
cocktail bars.
eclectic, very bohemian.
And they spent some money on that place. So that, so you want to go? What do we want to go to next?
Jim. Okay, let's talk about the name, Gymkhana. But it's not original, right? This is a restaurant that originated out of where, London?
London, and it was the first Indian restaurant in London ever to garner a Michelin star, and it's one of those restaurants that when someone told me it was coming to Vegas, I went, well, Indian food has always been a tough sell in this town. I mean, there's just handfuls of Indian restaurants, and they're always very sort of fundamental, low end. They all seem to cook the same recipes in the same way, like they have one kitchen. Gymkhana shows up, and it's immediately the hottest restaurant on the strip.
What does it mean? If you have a Michelin star in London, so what does it mean for now the restaurant in Las Vegas?
Well, it means that this is the toughest ticket in town now. I mean, it is the hardest reservation on the strip. And God bless them, I didn't think food this spicy, this authentic, and again, an offshoot of a London place would be this popular. But it hit the ground running, and getting a reservation. It's a big restaurant. It's a beautiful restaurant. You'll see the seating in there is gorgeous, muted lighting, and then these gorgeous, these tandoori chickens, saag paneers, the duck biryani. I mean, they just do it more aggressively spiced than I thought they could sell in Las Vegas, but I was wrong because people are responding to it too. And Gymkhana is fantastic, and one of two Indian restaurants that made a big splash in the last year.
Expensive?
Not as much as I thought it would be. Our next restaurant we're going to talk about is Tamba, which is off the strip, way down in the
Town Square.
On Town Square, on South Town Square, right next to an Apple store, and they are pretty much priced competitively. And I brought that up to the management because I said, this is a big fancy restaurant in London. It's a big fancy restaurant here, and I'm looking at all the prices of the entrees are like $25 and $30 and $35, and I went, this is Vegas. These are supposed to be twice as much, But God bless them. They said they decided to hold the line on prices, and make it and not make it off-putting by pricing themselves in the stratosphere, which is what so many restaurants on the strip have done in the last 5 years. So Gymkhana is a real find.
So do you feel that the restaurants are going to be retracting and backing down?
Does that happen
some
in
of
the
the
industry? Does that ever happen?
I don't know. I mean, you see some specials from time to time now on those casinos that you're not, seeing in the past.
Well, from your mouth to God's ears, but I just don't. I mean, and I see. I think it's interesting, not to pat myself on the back, but to pat myself on the back. I started talking about this about 3 or 4 years ago, and finally in the last 12 months, everybody started talking about it. It became a national story, how pricey Las Vegas became. But I just don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to start, peeling back prices and saying that $90 fillet is now $75? Has that ever happened? I don't know. I don't see it happening. Will they reinstitute free parking? Maybe, but it'll be interesting to see how they cope with this, because the strip is hurting, and they're hurting because they shot themselves in the foot with their pricing.
And there's other outside forces as well.
Oh yeah. Well, there's politics. There's
the politics.
Canada doesn't come here anymore. I mean, there's a lot of contributing factors. But the point is, the prices in most better strip restaurants just will make your eyes water, and that's
so
why
what is
people
that?
go out.
Eating a strip restaurant now is what you're spending $150 a person.
A person, yeah. I wrote on my blog last year, that $200 dinner for two is now $400, and then people go, prices are up 30%. Yeah, that's you. They're up more like 50 to 60%. They just boomed them right up. Coming out of COVID, they said, we're just going to hit people and hit them hard. And it's, and people noticed, and now there's a lot of blowback.
And let me ask you about the tipping, because now you eat at a restaurant, you get a bill. Some of them include automatically 18, 20, 22% gratuity.
Yeah.
And then there's a line for additional gratuity.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
people complain about Starbucks and the smaller
Yeah.
places, but when you're eating out, even, and we're not talking about large parties, I mean, just restaurants, some of them have a policy of adding in the gratuity and then asking for additional gratuity. What are your thoughts about that?
It'll be a line. It'll say,
Right.
you know, automatic gratuity 15%, and then add more. Yeah. I've been against tipping for 40 years. I think I love traveling to foreign countries where it's not a big deal, where you just sign the bill, and if you want to leave an extra 5 or 10 euros on the plate, or in Japan, they don't even, they get insulted if you leave extra money on the plate. I mean, it's like you sign and you go. Why we can't do that here, that's a political discussion for another time. But yeah, I think that kind of overreach has hurt the public relations of restaurants as well, especially in big places, in big giant hotels that you're already paying a lot of money to be there. You know what I mean? I don't see it so much in our local places. You're not going to see that kind of stuff at Bar Boheme or Amador or in Chinatown or downtown. But you do see it in the big hotels, and people don't like it.
Okay, what else? What do we have next?
Well, as long as we're in India, let's stay in India for a minute.
Okay.
Okay, because this is kind of fun for me to talk about Indian food. As I said, there were 2 incredible Indian restaurants. I thought I was so wrong. Someone told me that our 2 hottest restaurants at the end of 2025 were going to be 2 Indian restaurants, one on the Strip and one off the Strip. I was told them they were crazy, okay? But Tamba opened up about a year ago right now, and so it predates Gymkhana by about 9 or 10 months. And it shows up, it's this elegant Indian restaurant in a shopping mall, as I said, next door to an Apple store, and you walk in and you go, I mean, beautiful, comfortable booths, I mean, wonderful acoustics, beautiful service, people are dressed up. I mean, the food is, you know, all of the great stews there's a picture we have here of the roasted paneer, the roasted cheese, a lot of vegetarian dishes, biryani, the tandoori chicken. They house grind all their spices. They have a wonderful wine list, a cocktail program, and you're going, we've never seen an Indian restaurant like this anywhere in Las Vegas, and it's been a big hit. So it was a big hit, as a precursor to Gymkhana. And Indian food has become one of the hottest cuisines in Las Vegas now. And Tamba is a treat. I mean, it's just a gorgeous place and a little easier to get. I mean, you can get a reservation there a little easier than Gymkhana, which has, draws on the hotels and all the conventions. But Tamba is a tough ticket as well. I advise people, go there during the week. Fridays and Saturdays, it gets very busy. Monday through Thursday is the best time to go.
And I would recommend the lamb chops there.
The lamb, they're the best, aren't they? Yeah, you go too. Yeah,
yes.
The lamb chops are the
been
best.
there a few times. Loved it.
And I like the lamb chops there better than the ones at Gymkhana. I do.
Oh, really?
And I had side by side. But the one thing as I showed the picture there, the one thing about Indian food I like to make jokes about, it's sometimes the least photogenic food on the planet because there's a lot of stewy, soupy kind of stuff. But the flavors, there's usually the ingredient list is as long as your arm at some of these things. But Tamba, as I said, is a treat.
Well, you mentioned photographs. Let me take a little side step here. The biggest source of advertising, I feel, for restaurants now are influencers.
Yeah.
And anybody who goes and has dinner, everybody's taking pictures of the food, right, and posting it on Instagram.
Which I was doing 25 years ago, but nobody gives me credit for it.
Right. Well, I will. I will acknowledge that because I remember. But this is. So how the food looks is a big component of the marketing, right?
Oh, huge. I mean, I put it on my Instagram feed not long ago that the Wynn released a press release in which they're touting their new restaurant, Pisces, which is a very good seafood restaurant. And instead of talking about how good the food is and talking about their chef or the menu, the headline is, here are our most viral dishes we're cooking at Pisces in the Wynn, which is basically just screaming, here's the most photogenic things that we're making at this. Who cares what they taste like? Who cares who's cooking them? Here's the ones that people are reposting the most as pictures of this dish, which I think is just another sign that the apocalypse is upon us.
Wineaux.
Wineaux.
I love the name. We love the name, right?
Wineaux is what we are. And guilty as charged.
But it's there's no O at the end of that. It's EAUX.
That shows it's fancy. You only have fancy one.
It's a French Wineaux.
Yeah, Wineaux is in two places. It's down there in the Uncommons on the southwest part of town.
Right.
But they opened a new offshoot. This is a Sean McLean operation. Sean McLean is from Michigan, one of our great chefs. He also has Bala Italian restaurant in the Sahara Hotel. Really does, as you can see the pictures, just fantastic food, incredible oysters. I mean, he does wonderful jamon, the way they carve the jamon. They do a seafood carpaccio there, incredible desserts. So they build all these small plates around a wine list and a wine store. So you can go in there and buy wine retail, or you can taste just a panoply of great wines by the glass and eat these incredibly small plates, which you usually don't see. Well, a lot of wine bars have just functional food, but this is food on a different level, and that's why what I think in both locations. But the one we're featuring here is the Wineaux in the they call it the Rampart. What do they call it? The resort at Rampart. They've Rampart Casino, the resort at Summerlin. It's changed names like 5 times, but these are from the resort at Summerlin, and I just think it's the best wine bar and has the best food of any wine bar in Las Vegas. And I so heartily recommend, even if you don't drink wine, just go there and have the small plates and have a club soda. You'll be blown away by the food at Wineaux. And then we're going to go back to the Strip, because I want to give props to a little bit to the Strip, because I think Stubborn Seed is a place that had the most. I think it was the most interesting food I had last year in 2025. If Jeremy Ford is a winner of Top Chef one of the seasons.
Is this a vegetarian restaurant?
No, it's not.
It
sounds like
the name.
one.
The name kind of indicates
it.
Right?
It sounds like one, but they do an incredible burger. They do a tasting menu with a lot of fish on it, but they do feature a lot of vegetable forward dishes, which are probably the best vegetarian dishes I've had in a long, long time. One of the pictures, though, you'll see one of their, I think that's a beet salad, but the other picture is of a foie gras PB&J. It looks like a little pie, but with foie gras and truffles, and it basically tastes like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, as if, the foie gras mousse is sort of rich and unctuous like peanut butter, and then they have a black truffle, and they have a little crust underneath, and it's one of the most unique dishes I've had in a long time. And I would say, if as an interesting food goes, that breaks the mold of the same old steakhouses and Italian restaurants, Stubborn Seed in the Aria is a place you should go. And they have a great bar there. As I said, they have a good burger. They also do proteins as well. But if you're looking for a vegetable forward meal, hard to beat it.
Where do you go for burgers?
Well, that's funny. Next to where do we eat? Well, at my blog, if I can give a shout out to
you're not giving an In-N-Out burger.
No,
right?
no. Well, my podcast, let me shout out the Eat Talk Repeat podcast. We did a burger taste off all last year, and we tried I think 25 burgers all over town. The one that we loved the most was the Delmonico double smash burger at Delmonico Steakhouse in the Venetian. But the ones that came in second and third place, May Daly's has a great burger. Esther's Kitchen downtown has a great burger. There's a Stay Tuned Burgers, which is actually in the Hard Hat Lounge downtown, has a great. Jive Turkey has a great burger. I mean, we are filthy with great hamburgers in this town. I mean, it's hard to find a bad burger than it is a great one.
And when we have holidays, Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day, Christmas, and people like to, oftentimes go out in groups to go to a restaurant. And some restaurants have, little private areas, some don't. I mean, how do you select where to go?
PDRs, private dining rooms, yeah.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah, PDRs.
I thought it was like a book that tells you all the drugs. As lawyers, we know that PDR was always a guide book for
in the food business, it's private dining. Okay, so sorry.
Yeah, so where's a good place to go for that?
With a crowd?
Well, you have family, you have 16, 18 people for dinner.
Well, you would have to look for, well, I mentioned a place, Delmonico is a great place.
Okay.
I like steakhouses because there's something for everyone in a steakhouse in Las Vegas. We have a couple dozen of the greatest steakhouses in America right here. May Daly's has downtown has a lot of seating. We didn't talk about Ada's. It just moved from Tivoli Village downtown, and they have the original Esther's Kitchen, but they have a wine shop kind of side room for private dining and large parties, and they do some of the best food in town. And it's a wine-focused cuisine with very, very interesting food as well. So Ada's downtown. If you want to stay downtown, I mean, you'll spend less money down there, and I think the food will be more interesting than, you know, your average Gordon Ramsay restaurant.
Well, look, every year or two you used to write a book of where the top restaurants are. Now you're doing, instead you've caught up with the times, you're doing a podcast.
Yeah, everybody does, yeah. So mine's Eat, Talk, Repeat. You know, we're on Apple and Spotify and everything. I do it every week. And I still own a lot of the socials. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. My Twitter account was just hacked, so I hope it's unhacked by the time this broadcast. Right. But yeah, I'm trying to stay current with the times. I don't know how much longer my cardiologist will let me keep eating out all the time. But we'll fight the good fight. Yeah.
But let me ask you, as we got about 30 seconds left, Piero's, big change in Piero's over the last year. Freddie Glossman.
Glossman's out.
So,
yeah.
So is it, food still as good?
Haven't been back since.
Okay.
They Pat Ross, who was the general manager forever, she's moved over to Panavino, down on Sunset. So I haven't been back to Piero's yet. I want to go. I loved my meal at Panavino's the other night. I thought it was great. She wasn't in that day, but I love those old time Italian restaurants. I'm hoping the Seagulls, what they do with Piero's, brings it back to its former glory. But they're going to have to improve the food because the food got very, very dated and boring and over time there.
Yeah, I think they'll be able to do it. I've eaten there since they took over. I thought it was pretty good.
You did. Yeah, okay, good. That's a good rec. So
yeah,
thanks.
I mean, the veal was as good as ever.
That's what you're looking for. Yeah.
Exactly.
The bolognese. You want
okay, John Curtas, catch him on his podcast. Eat, Talk, Repeat.
Every
Love
week.
The name.
Eat, Talk, Repeat. That's me. Thank you.
That's all you do, right?
Yeah, that's all I do. Bon appetit.
We'll see you next week.